Hello, and welcome back to Staying Alive with me, Moose. Hope everybody's had a good week. No Assassin's Creed this past week. Took a little time for rest, relaxation. Well, it's rest. Um, Moving. I moved into a new place, and I don't know. Was it supposed to be different this week? I don't know. I got some ice cream here. Just finishing up some ice cream. By finishing, I mean starting and finishing. Hopefully, just like this delicious episode of Staying Alive with Moose. We're back in Ghost Recon. And for those of you who aren't aware, this is a series basically where we don't die. The character stays alive. If our character dies, like at all, we restart the entire game. So fun, right? So we can kind of do anything we want as long as we stay alive. Whoa. That's delicious. Oh. Oh. Muck. Bang. We got some French vanilla with a little caramel. For those of you who remember the last episode, we decided, well, I decided that we'd be doing themed characters. So our last character was one of the Hanson brothers from Slapshot, movie Slapshot. I mean, I did the best I could. Oh, should we do a new character today? Should we go with the Hanson brother again? I kind of like the Hanson brother. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good outfit. Pretty good stuff. All right, we're just gonna keep going with the Hanson brothers. I think if you want to interact with me, first of all, join my Discord, for starters. You can find it on my Twitch page in the links. And go into my, I'll put here, I'll do it right now. I'll put a Ghost Recon Staying Alive tab in my Discord right now. And then for those of you that want to see a character bit, like somebody, like if you want to see a character, then suggest it there. So I'm going to do it right now. It's in my Animoose Discord channel. You can find it on my Twitch page, IVIOOSE. So we're going to name it Ghost Recon. We'll just Ghost Recon Wildlands. And then if you have any suggestions on basically different kind of characters, I think that's where you should go do it. Cool? Is that good? All right. So, what are we up to? First, let me finish my delicious dessert treat. I'm in a cozy new place. Same area, at least for the time being. Although, don't tell the locals that. As if they don't know every single place that I move and walk and think. Anyways. You know, I think these staying alive videos are going to be my more opinionated, you know, definitely will include things going on in my real life and talk about them and have no problem calling out the shenanigans that I see. You know, so I think this will be fun. It'll be a whole staying alive IRL and in game. In IRL and game, yeah. It'll be good. Although I have to say, some of the shenanigans that I've experienced have gone away. Certain shenanigans are still there, but there are no new shenanigans. So, in the shenanigans department, I'd like to thank everyone for exerting all of their shenanigans to the point of we've now know all the shenanigans. So I look forward to turning all of the previously bad shenanigans into future good shenanigans. So here's to shenanigans. Shall we? Okay, where do we leave off? Should we try it? Let's. Oh my gosh, we got to pick up all these. All right, I think we got to go for the little blue things first. And we need a helicopter. There's a helicopter. You know, Rafflecopter. How do we? Helicopter. There we go. And then once we get in there, I think we're gonna clear up Iraquia. And we'll just keep this. We'll slowly build up our character building. Ooh, this we need. Let's get a mine. All right. Upgrade our arsenal.
Buckle up, people. De última generación chapeados de la Fusca.
Taking a drive, no big deal, 'cause I'm in Ghost Recon, anti-terrorist. Yeah. I'm a Ghost Recon, anti-terrorist. Yeah. Staying alive. Yeah. Staying alive in this episode of Ghost Recon's Got Talent.
I got it. I'll fly.
We have to be careful of the anti-aircraft.
Good to go.
Remember, if we die once, we have to start over from the beginning. We are currently playing on arcade difficulty, so I don't imagine we are going to have too much resistance. And then once we beat it like that, we will set it to the next difficulty. Let's go get the skill point. Ah, beautiful Bolivia. In no way, shape, or
Damn,
form.
haven't seen anything like this since I was in
Okay.
the sandbox.
Okay.
Sandbags, barbed wire, observation posts. The rebels must be
Oh,
giving
dear.
Santa Blanca hell.
Bet these cartel assholes never thought
Nope.
they'd be spending their time dodging snipers and IEDs. Karma sure can be a bitch sometimes.
That was close. And that was almost the end of Staying Alive. Alas, I am a Ghost Recon super anti-terrorist, super hero. No? Hero? I don't know. Okay. Maybe not a hero. But I am certainly here to take down the bad guys. Here it is, bad people. I'm taking down bad peoples. Bad people. Bad people. We're here on Ghost War taking down bad people. Alright, what do we got here? Alright, the leper suspected thing. We don't have to do this like Slapshot where we just check everyone through the glass.
Hold up, we got hostile activity.
But it
There's
is
Sicario
a
over
skill in
here, near the
our
airstrip.
repertoire. And we always have the ability to do it. As long as we have our Slapshot Hanson Brothers character costume. We must be silent. Now. We have to take down the
Drone is up.
terrorists.
Got another tango. Target spotted.
Here we go. Looks like the cartel's getting ready for a supply run. Planes fueled and ready to go.
You know the old saying, when life gives you supply planes,
You get supply rates?
you take those fuckers and give them to your rebel friends. Am I right?
So we're gonna.
I'm moving to position.
Let me find a good position.
Target marked.
Okay.
Ready to engage.
I have no idea we're here. This is how elite Ghost Recon assassins do it.
Fire,
Okay.
fire, fire!
Target is down.
Wait a minute, wait. Okay, there we go. Hello? Anti-terrorism! Hello? Anti-terrorism! Housekeeping!
Grenade, move! Oh, here we go. They've seen us. Grenade, move,
Oh
move!
shit, oh shit. Excuse me. I heard y'all like, you are terrorists or something. I heard you all do terrorist things, and I'm here to Here to anti.
We're clear over here.
Hold on.
There's a cartel commendation here.
Accommodation. Good for us.
Think I can wear this with my Class A uniform?
Give some supplies.
These supplies will buy us a lot of goodwill from the rebels.
Suppose we could take this plane. If we crash, it's over. I just want you all to realize this. If we crash this plane, it's done. And we don't even have a parachute yet. I don't think we should take the plane yet. Let's not take the plane yet. We're not taking the plane yet. We have to get our parachute first. Speaking of more intel. More intel. We love intel. here in the intelligence world, we are big fans of intelligence. So if you have it and you got it, we want it and we'll get it. Thank you. Thank you very, 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 very much. Oh!
Enemy activity. Stay sharp.
Elite Ghost Recon stuff.
Yo, cartel gunman. At the entrance to the camp.
Alright, thank you. We are elite assassins. We are elite we are, we are elite Ghost Recon operatives. Ghost Recon operatives. We're growing. We're growing.
And baby makes 3. That makes 5.
Oh.
I've got eyes on the captain. I got a target carrying submachine guns.
Roger that. Move. Let me get a good sight line.
Sickies.
Roger that. Target good to go.
And good night.
Dropped him.
Where's this guy? Friendly little eye in the sky.
Roger. Let me get in position. I need a better position. Roger. Target acquired. Ready to fire. I'm opening fire on these shitheads.
Ghost Recon. Ghost Recon.
They know we're here.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Have you heard of Ghost Recon? Oh. Oh. Hey. You like some of that? A little cozy? You like little cozy bombs? I know you all look dead right now, but you're all just really exhausted after a long day, and you're just like, what was that? I heard something. Okay, no, we're good. They look dead, but they're actually just really tired, and they're really cozy. And
They're coming this way.
they're
What do you
just
want us to do?
relaxing. They're just relaxing. Silly terrorists, stop laying down on the job. Silly. Come on, terrorists.
You think with all their
You don't have time to lay
cartel
down
would make it
and
nice
relax.
metal.
Only chill, cool people have time to lay down and relax. Only people who like,
This document mentions
you know.
a Unidad captain he sends prisoner to Yuri and Polito for interrogations.
only
He's got to know where our lovebirds are.
Only
He's sitting in the
people-
Unidad firebase.
only people with really cool jobs get to sit down and relax. Ouch. Who could that be? Oh my gosh. I gave you a cozy knee massage. In
Clear.
today's
How you
Staying
guys holding
Alive, we are explicitly giving our enemies cozy vibrations. Or are they our enemies? Perhaps these aren't our enemies. Perhaps they're our friends, and our friends are receiving cozy vibes. And now, I'd like to refill my ammunition. Lovely. Okay. It's a story mission.
We've learned that an Unidad captain named Fuentes has been working with Yuri and Polito. Interrogate
Ready,
Fuentes
fellas?
and see what intel he can give us.
Let's go get some intel. Let's go get some elite operative intel. Alright, I think we should take the dock. Let's take the dock. And then we'll take... Oh wait, there's a door right there. Never mind. Found a door. Found a side entrance. Hold on. Alright, this is like a big mission here. Unidad versus dangerous enemy factions. Killing Unidad soldiers raises the Unidad patrol level unless you're undetected. Ah. So low profile means I can have as much fun as I want. Okay. So we're commencing low profile in order to get as many, in order to commit to as much freedom as possible.
Okay, this is the Unidad firebase. We're looking for the captain who's in contact with Yuri and Polito. We need the target alive.
Roger that. Ooh.
Got another tango. Sniper, top of the tower.
Top of the tower.
I got another. That's 5.
Down. You're giving yourself away. We're cool. We're cool.
We are elite Ghost Recon operatives. We are elite Ghost Recon operatives. I am the Hanson brother. In elite Ghost
I got
Recon
one Unidad soldier.
I don't see him.
Inside the bunker.
Drone is airborne.
Only in hockey worlds can you be both an elite Ghost Recon operative and an elite
5.
skilled athlete.
Here we go.
Got it. Eyes on the Unidad captain.
Sniper up in the tower.
The rat of the cage.
No way. Your ship.
Se han detectado disparos. Tirador desconocido. Todas las unidades deben...
Oh shit. Oh shit. This is okay.
Sniper, get down!
A todas las unidades, comiencen el ataque.
Roger that. Let me get a good sight line. Target acquired. Good to go. I'm engaging tangos. That's one less bad guy.
Okay. Tag in some supplies. for those of you playing at home, you too can get an authentic Ghost Recon experience in real life by downloading your local grocery store app and selecting which items you'd like to purchase at the grocery store. And have no fear, this version of Ghost Recon won't get you killed. It will, however, earn you great savings. So go ahead, download your local grocery store app, if applicable, and play along with us as we tag supplies. Huh? How about that?
I'm getting it to a better position.
I think the harder difficulty modes will probably turn us into like Splinter Cell, Sam Fisher.
Roger, target acquired. Lost my target. I need a better position. I've got the target. Say the word, boss.
And there's more grocery store savings. Or gas savings. As in, you can earn rewards for your own gas. What? Gas is $5 a gallon again? Oh my.
Lost visual on the
In a
target.
state where it's normally $3? Oh my. You need to save some
engage.
money on gas. Why don't you collect some of those savings for your next fuel trip by downloading? Why don't you stay alive in the
Lost my
modern
target.
world by downloading your locally grocery store app so you can collect rewards on cheaper gas savings. Stay alive.
Say the word, boss. Lost visual on the target. Enemy down.
Okay. I believe we have neutralized the base. We've taken out all the bad guys. Or the good guys. Depending on whether they're good or bad is the determining factor whether something's cozy or extremely torturous. I hope you're on the good side. Because the good side's cozy. And the bad side's bad. And that's how it should be. Because bad people are bad people, and they don't deserve coziness. Only good people deserve coziness. Like anti-terrorists. And people who are defending their rights. Yes. And remember,
We're good. We all in one piece?
just because you can problem solve doesn't mean you have to be presented with problems to solve. In real, like in the context of certain contexts, you know, some problems should be solved. But I digress. Where's our interrogation? Excuse me, are you ready to be interrogated? Have you been waiting long enough? Oh boy, have you waited? You've been waiting long enough? Are you ready? Let's interrogate.
Quédate quieto.
What the hell is this?
How's it going, fuckstick?
Pendejos. You are dead.
I like that name. Fuckstick. What's up, fuckstick?
Mierda. You may as well kill me now. I'm not talking, carajo.
Well, that's your choice. But with a pair of sick fucks like Yuri and Polito, one day
Yeah.
that might be you hanging from their ceiling.
Yeah,
You can't trust them. It would be a
Can't.
relief if I took them out of your life.
a relief.
Look, I'm not a snitch, but let's just say, yeah, they freak me out. The thing is, they're not even in Itaqua.
So call them back to Itaqua. Tell them you've got a package ready.
Oye, Polito. I got a lamb ready for delivery. Un borrego. Vale.
Well. Mission complete. So far, we're staying alive quite easily in our arcade game mode here. With absolutely... Basically, it's like real life. So, the more difficult we get in Ghost Recon, it's actually going to resemble less of a real life experience. This is the real life experience. Real life experience is pretty much just dominating and walking all over your enemy. Or friend. But like walking all over them in like a
Hold up.
walking
There's a
all
weapons
over
case
you.
here.
Ooh. Not like I'm gonna walk all over you. You know.
Nice.
It's like a good kind of like you're my dear little slave. Not like slave, but like king slave. Consensually.
Now that our couple are
This is a
heading back to
mature
the
rated
Talk
stream.
World, all we need to do is find out exactly where the hell they're gonna be. Unidad standing.
By the way,
there.
on
We're
the
good to go.
subject of slaves, kink slaves, sexual slaves, please don't do that unconsensually. It makes the rest of us who are interested in the world of submission and pleasure and domination and general consensual, tomfoolery, cockfoolery, fun, good time, kinky, just make sure you're all doing things kosher, because there's a lot of people out there who do want to participate in wild, freaky times. And, representing yourself so the rest of us don't have to explain ourselves as diabolical, psychological, crazy people. Because apparently some of the world thinks the kink world is insane, right? Am I right on this? Are there people in the real world who find the kink world to be rather insane or complicated? Are you someone who finds the fetish world complicated? Have no fear, you're not the only one. A little spanking? Perhaps some handcuff play. And they want you to bend over backwards and do flips and tie bows and knots that you've never heard of? You're in the right place. Here in Moose's stream, we are supportive of the fetish community to a certain degree. But we also don't like to make things too complicated, so you're bending over backwards and then breaking things. So join us as we anti-terrorism the world of
Check it out,
kink,
weapons case.
which has apparently turned into a world of bribery and terrorism. Thanks, Uber. You didn't win. You didn't. I know you think you won with the whole Uber food thing. You got a good. For right. I just want to give a little heads up here. Uber used me and my life's interests, and then they tried to hide my life, and then manipulate my life. Like they basically lied about my whole situation, and then they tried to manufacture the truth based on how much money that they were getting and stealing and learning off of. Oh, by the way, Uber loves to listen to people in cars. Like they'll listen to your private conversations through their phone. Like if you're on their app, if your phone is active on their app, they will listen. They don't give a shit who you are. So that's the one downside to rideshare company. So you know how there were taxi cabs? So there were taxi cabs and then there were ride shares. What we're now finding out is that rideshare companies, because the taxi cab people really hate the rideshare people, rideshare people use their rideshare apps as basically a way to spy on people. And so I was one of the people that they spied on. And so they started this whole they took over, Uber got its start by taking over cities, right? So they used that same strategy so they already took over businesses, and they use that strategy to team up with for example, the kink world and the fetish world, right? And they decided to use those people in the sex world, as a means to then gain more information and gain more power. Now, I don't think Lyft did quite the same thing because they're not as big as a company, but Uber, being the international conglomerate of bastards that they are, they definitely are up that alley. I don't know how deep Lyft goes because, again, they're just a domestic brand. A little bit of Canada involved. Canada. Speaking of Canada, I'd like to mention something. I went to Canada. I've been to Canada a bunch of times. I play hockey when I grew up. Got my Jeff Hansen character build, right? I played hockey, and I went to hockey. I went to Canada for hockey a couple times. One time I was in high school, and it was I went to Invermere. And they had a hockey camp there. It was really cool camp. It was really fun, except until my ankle like twisted and I wasn't able to play a game or two. Then there was that guy who liked to punch me up. Like there was somebody on my team who liked to punch me just for pure enjoyment because apparently I talked too much. And I was in high school then, but I digress. Anyways, the other time I went to Canada. Oh, and also there was a guy named Roland. I called him an asshole one time. Sorry, Roland. I think I was just expressing my emotional distress from being punched all the time by somebody who was supposed to be the team captain. But I digress. So the other time I went to Canada was from when I was playing junior hockey. And some people think that this was like the moment that like I wasn't me or I was me. So I had a passport and it was expired. And so I had to get my passport renewed in like 3 days. And I went to a P.O. box and they had like an expedited, this was like 2009. This was like 2009. And then, you know, at P.O. boxes, they had like some places they like would expedite your passport, you know? So I basically expedited my passport really quick without like doing the official passport renewal process. And that's how I got to Canada. So I got my passport back really fast. And it was really cool because I actually got, at the time, my passport, it had one of those little like, you know, the little dot with the little box thing, which was new. It was like a new kind of like digital RF reader. So government knew who I was the whole time. But anyways, I go to Canada, and there's this guy, Scott, who's, you know, meets up with me at this, well, after a long story, I ended up in this one team, and there's this guy, Scott, and he has like the same last name as me, but it's not the same last name. It's like part of my last name. And when I stopped playing for the team, he had magically gotten hurt, and I had just taken a ride with him back to Calgary, where he was from. And then from Calgary, I went back home. And I think there are some people who think that I was trying to sneak away from the United States or to sneak back into the United States. Or I don't know. People have kind of created some weird fantasy stories about that. Let me clear up the air. I was just going to play junior hockey. That's it. I went to Canada, played some junior hockey. They probably should have given me a longer time playing than they should have, considering who I was and, you know, and some of the situations that they unfortunately placed me through. But, you know, I was there to play junior hockey, and I wasn't, you know, I needed updates to my equipment. I digress. But, you know, I played. And then I came back to the States, where I continued to play hockey into college. You know, so for some people who are wondering, you know, things like that, because there are some people who are aware of those things, and they try to make up all these stories. But the real story is I expedited my passport, and, you know, I basically just was in and out of Canada real fast. So I am an American citizen, born and raised, Los Angeles too, not a Canadian. As nice as cool as Canada is, and as much as I would want to be Canadian, I am an American citizen. And to the Scott person who also played hockey, and they ended up playing hockey in the United States for Iowa State, I think. I think they won a championship for it, like a junior championship or whatever. I'm the real Mondras. Oh, sorry, that's my last name. You know, there's a lot of things with my last name, Mondras. You know, I'm the real one. This is my real last name. I was born with it. You know, I don't have an alternate identity. This is my real one. You know, and here's another thing. When I was homeless, staying at the LA Grand, I was given an alias, Maxwell Mondras. It's me. That's me. I'm Maxwell Mondras. I was in room 437 at the LA Grand while they tortured people during the LA Grand Project Room Keith thing. That was fun. But that's me. That's my name, and I only used it on the initial application because I guess apparently the city of Los Angeles was like they were rounding up people and then trying to turn their homeless program, their Project Room Key, into some sort of drug rehab program, which is totally illegal and totally would have turned the LA Grand into a place where privacy rights and medical rights, you know, like when you do things like that, you know, people have medical rights, people have privacy rights, people have you know, all kind of rights. So they couldn't officially call it a rehab thing, but that's what they were doing. They were rounding up people at Echo Park, all under the same drug, like people who were using the same drug, I guess, using the electricity that you all know doesn't exist. And when I say the electricity, you know, those open current RF radio wave things, whatever it is, all the things that people know how to do that doesn't officially exist, that people don't like talking about because it's too cuckoo crazy nuts for everybody to understand and comprehend. Apparently, they were rounding up people at Echo Park and then kind of like lassoing them, and like, you know, kind of like a sheep, a bunch of sheep. You lasso the sheep, or the cows. You herd the sheep. You're herding. So they were herding people. They were herding people into the LA Grand for particular reasons. And I wasn't from Echo Park. I was from Agora, and a nice person from, and I'm sure this has to do with the fact that my rights were violated while I was in Agora. But they found me a room at the LA Grand, and they kind of had finagle some of the language to get me in there. So there were a couple things. They made up the fact that I had asthma, and I told him I don't have asthma. He's like, it's okay, it'll help you get a better room. I'm like, whatever, dude. I was homeless. It was COVID. Telling me I was gonna get a place to stay, I'm totally cool with that. So they said I was a smoker. I'm not a smoker. I have smoked cigarettes like a couple times throughout my life in college parties, but I'm not a smoker. That doesn't classify me as a smoker. I've smoked, what I actually told the guy was I smoke marijuana, but I don't even smoke marijuana anymore. I'm a vape. I do vape, edibles, stuff like that. So, and I even told them it was for medical purposes, So they put on the application like asthma and like smoking, but I don't actually have those things or do those things. So I explained to them that, and they were like, "That's no worries about it," And so when we got there, he also said, "We're just going to make your name a little different because we don't want you to be included with all these other people at the Echo Park situation." So they were just trying to get me a room, And I'm pretty sure I was supposed to get a suite at the LA Grand, so I was separate from everyone. I didn't bother anybody by doing my video game stuff. But they put me in room 437 and set me up on some fake ass journey of we're going to mess with you through wall banging, and just like they were doing at the previous place I was staying at. They were doing a lot of shit the same way. A lot of the same shit, and just setting up scenarios and messing with people. So it's been a real journey having experienced that over and over again. But I just want to say, Maxwell Mondras, I am Maxwell Mondras. I'm Max Mondras, my legal name. Hi everyone. I'm an elite agent sharing my name on the internet. But you know what? I'm okay with that because there's a couple things. First of all, HBO Max. I know some of you don't believe it, but hi, that was named after me. And I wish some people would officially recognize these things so I can get official credit, because I'd like to benefit in my life because of these things. I really would. I don't want to just have an app called Max. I'd rather just have my life. I'd like to have a situation where I'm free to, financially secure. I know this doesn't nobody likes the money thing, but I like financially safe, secure situations. So, I'd like to have my life benefit in ways that are secure, so I don't have to be forced to making small decisions when I can make much bigger decisions. I'd like to make bigger decisions in my life. So I think we're slowly getting there. But, so I just want to clarify these things because there's so many people making lies and, making up all these stories about my life and the situations that led to it. And I know these things are going to be super important in court, assuming they don't sign me to a non-disclosed settlement amount that says that I shouldn't talk about any of it. But nobody's done that, and my civil rights have definitely been violated because of the whole thing, And the best part is I wasn't even at the LA Grand because I was trying to kick any drugs or anything. I was there because I was a homeless person who had my civil rights violated, and the people who were violating my civil rights, instead of just financially settling with me, the electrical outlet situation, which was definitely a civil rights violation, by the way. During a time of emergency, absolutely. Instead of just settling with me financially, they found a way to get me into a room that they knew
I'll pilot.
people were being rehabbed drug-wise.
You really ought to let me.
So, thanks, Lewis. Thanks, Lewis and Agora Hills, for all of your help and all of your Trojan War-like mentality with your USC college degree. You really do the Trojans proud by representing USC with bribes, blackmail, and lies. Thanks, Lewis. Thank you for your college degree and your ability to bribe, blackmail, and lie. So, for people wondering things like that, I didn't lie about anything. I was telling the truth, and people wanted to put an alias so I would have a better chance to get room or to, less of a chance to be hassled. But clearly, there are other people who took this, so seriously to actually terrorizing people and good job, you terrorized people for the explicit reason of being you know, it's just like the things that people do sometimes. So here I am, you know, this is the intelligence world part of Ghost Recon Operative. This is the intelligence aspect of it. You know, not everything in Ghost Recon, believe it or not, is a terrorist gunfight. Some of the anti-terrorism stuff that goes on in these worlds is based on information and how people are getting treated. Believe it or not. So, in my situation, I was treated a very odd way, because it's meant to appear like they're treating you nice, but at the same time, it's meant to not be. You know, it's like a ratio. You know, it's like they're constantly figuring out ratios based on how they mess with you, and I think that's wrong, personally. Or I just don't have enough power to be able to stop. You know, or I didn't have enough power at the time to be able to stop them, I should say. But I think I've been gaining some power pretty good, decently. I mean, look at us. We're still alive. Staying alive in Ghost Recon Wildlands. It's not bad. See? Look. Ghost Recon Wildlands. See? Some of you might get this reference. Some of you might understand this reference right here. Some of you may understand this reference. And that's what makes me so fun as a unique content experience. Being in my presence really does add to the content experience. It really does. I'm not even joking. But that doesn't mean I want to be terrorized. So, just thought I'd share some of that information. And there's definitely a lot of cool things that play off of my last name, you know, the Mon thing. You know, even that Scott guy is Mon. Come on. At the time, I honestly didn't think of it. Honestly, Scott, at the time, never even thought of it. I never even thought of it, honestly. I didn't even think your last name like my last name. Honestly. You didn't mention anything. I didn't mention, you didn't mention, nobody mentioned anything. So, if somehow people thought that Scott was the real me, I am so sorry for the last 10 years that you all wasted investing in something that turned out to be a wasted investment. I am so sorry for you all. Also, Scientologists seem to be having a prickly time. Scientologists are having a real prickly time. Wow. Yeah. Something about Scientology these days. They're evil. By the way, I'm pretty sure. You know why? Because Xenu. The whole Xenu thing. I mean, I know the whole... I know that the whole, you know, throwing yourself into a volcano is kind of like just metaphorical, you know, a metaphorical thing. However, I think some of you...
Opening fire.
I think some of you have actually taken that whole...
Cartel Sicarios have joined in the fight.
You know, Xenu, like lava volcano scenario, and I think you've perhaps taken it, you know, a little more seriously than you should have.
The drone is up.
You know, sending people to their death kind of thing. You know, like, ooh, we're gonna have so much fun, and then boom, you go into a volcano. Well, in the Scientology world, they believe that everybody gets into an airplane, and then the airplane goes into a volcano. That's what Scientology believes. And then they believe that when you go into the volcano, you're like it releases the thetan inside you, and the thetan inside you gets released back into the air. I think Scientologists are crazy for that reason alone. And of course, they're going to be like, oh, that's not actually what they believe in. But do you know why it is actually what they believe in? Because if it's not because if they don't believe in Xenu, then there's no reason for Scientology to even exist in the first place. So they kind of, as a religion at least, as a religion, because if they don't have the Xenu part, then they're basically just normal people who believe in science. So that's not, any scientific group can then claim, religious, a religious thing. You know what I mean? So I think they need their Xenu character in order to make their crazy religion crazy. The only problem is, I don't think sending people into their death in a, thinking that they're going to be freeing themselves or something. I don't know. Seems pretty terrorist to me. So Scientology, weird world of Scientology these days. They really take things a little too far, I think. By the way, the Michelle girl at the Agora, the City Hall, I'm pretty sure she's a Scientologist, right? Because she just gave us really Scientology vibes. That receptionist girl, Michelle, skinny brunette, who wore all the fancy clothes, fancy shoes. Ooh, I wear nice fancy shoes, and I'm just a basic receptionist. And then they had that one chubby looking dude who kind of pretended to look like me, and the Hispanic chick, and they moved chairs. Also, here's a fun time. There was also that time that they were doing a podcast for Agora, for my hometown city, and of course I was there, the whole time doing my whole podcast entertainment, my stream stuff, all my thing. And then of course my own city is has a podcast, and they didn't want to use me. They didn't want to use me. Whoa! I think I would have given them really great views, but they never asked, and I'm pretty sure that whole thing was there for me. So for the record, the people in Agora never offered the podcast position to me. They never came to me. Whatever the things with chairs was, they obviously had some whole plan where they were trying to make it look like that everything was there for me, but they didn't actually tell me what was going on. So they were trying to play a misinformation game. And it's unfortunate that I was able to rape their little dirty lies in their butts. Unconsensually. If you're going to rape somebody unconsensually, rape somebody who's lying. But don't actually rape them. Rape their lies. Rape their lies with truth.
Heads up, Santa Blanca's here.
So, I'm sure there's plenty more information we can play, or we can go over as we continue our Staying Alive series. Costa Rica, in the
I
wildlands.
got eyes on a weapons case.
Here we go.
Isn't this fun?
Jets firing on the cartel.
Aren't some of you having fun? Isn't this everything everyone ever wanted? The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help us, Justice Department? That's what everybody wants, right? That's what we want: the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, Justice Department. Because separation of church and state. Which, by the way, still boggles my mind. How do you have separation of church and state values in America? As a Jewish person, I guess I'm a part of the whole monotheistic, I'm secular Jewish, but as a Jewish person, I guess I'm included in the whole monotheistic perspective of things. But how does one God represent a country that's supposed to not represent any one God? So I still don't understand that aspect, and those are things that don't make sense to me. But, I'm forced to live in an America where,
Right for us.
that's the America I'm forced to live in. They want me to live in that America. They want me to live in an America where I don't question the religious bullshit that sometimes done using our country and its powers of authority and executive power and privilege. The powers that give people the ability to end people's lives and destroy their lives, especially for political campaigns. Speaking of, I would hate to think that my situation was being put on the back burner specifically because of an upcoming presidential election, because it would just bother me so much thinking that they could have resolved my situation but chose not to, because it was hey, there's a presidential election going on and your information has the ability to be used by both sides and nobody really knows which side you're, so it's the Republicans want to use me and the Democrats want to use me both to attack each other's parties in this whole fucking situation, And it's hi, I'm still a person who's trying to live their own life. So it's really complicated. It's complicated. Where's my squad? Squad.
Dad and the cartel were going at it.
Squad. squad? Where's my squad?
Unidad troops are moving in. Grenade! Grenade!
By the way, I have my name listed like on my Instagram page, so it's not like my name's a hidden secret. And if I'm gonna be a
That's one
public
tango down.
figure, you know, should I really be afraid of my own name? I don't think so. There's only one Max. There's only one Max Monders. There's only one Max Darren Monders, and that's me. I am the one Max Darren Monders. There's only one in existence. It's me. I am the one. So I just want to say for the record, if some of you spent 10 years pretending like it was somebody else or thinking it was somebody else, you've made an extremely egregious mistake. Because I am the HBO Max. I'm the, you know, if you pay attention to my life every single day, you will notice these things. And that's why I feel like this is taking too long financially to settle, because, you know, it's pretty fucking obvious. Pretty fucking obvious. So, hey, I think I'm gonna play like for a half an hour here, and then we'll come back a little bit later. 'Cause I think I wanted to take a little. I wanted to take a dick nipple. I'll be right back. Hold on.
No hay actividad en la
Wanted to
última
try to
posición
swim in the pool
enemiga
today.
conocida. Comenzando la búsqueda.
Should be a heated pool.
Here we go. Unidad's firing on the cartel.
Oh, by the way,
Here we go. Unidad's firing on the cartel.
people think I'm a prisoner.
El enemigo se ha retirado.
People think I want to clarify something. I feel very strongly about this. So in the United States of America, people are only found guilty in a United States court of law. If there are people in society who feel somebody should, like for example, OJ is a great example, right? Like OJ killed someone, and then all of society was like felt really bad for him, and then they let him have a non-guilty verdict, right? Somehow, you know. And by the way, this goes into all theories that I have. Like the OJ Simpson trial. Like I think that was such a slap to the face to the Justice Department from Hollywood's perspective, like from the context of Los Angeles. And I think the OJ Simpson's trial is actually when things really went bad for the U.S. justice system in Los Angeles, because they turned the justice system into entertainment. They turned it into some entertainment song and dance show where the guilty person was found not guilty, and then they did a soul for soul thing, and then they took the Kardashian guy. So that's what I think. I think OJ was innocent, and then they took the Kardashian's dad as a soul for soul. A soul for a soul. That's what I truly believe that. So I think after the O.J. Simpson trial, the United States Justice Department viewed Los Angeles like it was like a complete insult to the whole justice and criminal justice system, because they basically made the criminal justice system, it was like a giant joke. It was a huge joke, you know? And, you know, so there are some people who think I'm a criminal or that other people are criminals, even though nobody's ever been sentenced or found guilty of a crime. I'm going to be very clear about this. And this is very serious because, you know, the Department of Justice is one of the three main branches of the United States government. So when when LA County and Ventura County shut down courthouses because they don't have enough money, and then other people have so much money that they can bribe and blackmail their way to whatever, you know, whatever they use money to like do whatever they want. You know, it's a real insult to the whole Department of Justice, one of the three main branches of justice. Also, for people who think I'm a prisoner, I'm a prisoner in not in the sense that I've been found guilty of anything. I'm a prisoner in the sense that there are people who've been taking advantage of my life and are trying to use that context to try to, you know, misrepresent things to other people. So if people think that I was kept a prisoner in a cell, I wasn't kept a prisoner in a cell. I'm being kept a prisoner of a digital stalking. So I'm being stalked digitally. And I guess some of that is like, you know, because I'm an internet celebrity. Okay, fine, but let's work business deals instead of stalking. You know, don't try to set me up for murder. Try to, you know, profit off of my talent, or allow me to profit off my talent at the very least. So I want to say, when you try to punish people for crimes that they weren't found guilty of in a court of law in America, you are then doing what is known as vigilante justice. And in the United States of America, vigilante justice is actually domestic terrorism. So when people try to punish me outside of a courtroom without any type of, without any type of judicial process in a courtroom, when you try to sentence me with punishments that have nothing to do with the United States American system of justice, you are committing what's known as domestic terrorism or vigilante justice. But I'll refer to it as domestic terrorism because that's what the United States government refers to it as. The FBI especially. So I just want to clear the air here. I'm not a prisoner of myself. I'm not a prisoner in the sense that I have to be stuck in a room. I'm a prisoner of people digitally harassing me because they think I either owe people money or that I'm not religious enough or that my morals are effed up or that I speak too much, which might be fine and dandy for a world that doesn't believe in civil rights. But as an American, I have independence, liberty, civil rights, free expression. I've got things called U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights that give me the ability to speak my mind freely. I'm allowed. I'm allowed to do that. And if I'm being harassed, stalked, threatened, made to feel, having people try to scare me, I have a right to defend myself psychologically. If somebody has the right to defend themselves from a physical attack, then I have the right to defend myself, me and everybody else. We have the right to defend ourselves from both physical attacks and psychological attacks. How you defend yourself from a psychological attack, I think, is more complicated. But I think how people psychologically attack is also more complicated. So I think there's been a lot of psychological attacks occurring. And so in that sense, I've been a prisoner of constant psychological attacks. The sound thing is one thing. I think the sound stuff has been around a long time. But I'm talking about the amount of people that followed, tracked, interfere with my daily life's routines or interfere with things that I want to do to try to either, like, they're pretending they're trying to get the best out of me, but really I'm ready to go and they're just, wasting time to try to support some stupid scam or fraudulent, game theory. Like a scam theory. It's like scam theory, So I'm not a prisoner. And if there are people out there watching my stream illegally, claiming I'm a prisoner, like saying, oh, the prisoner's left his, every time I leave the apartment, oh, the prisoner's left his cell, the prisoner's left his cell. I don't actually hear those things, but I'm aware of them. I'm aware of them. And I want to say for the record, you're a fucking terrorist. You're a fucking terrorist, and you can eat and lick my beautiful American balls and ass. All right? I'm not guilty in anybody's fucking, there's no courtroom I'm guilty in. There is no American courtroom that I am guilty in. And the day that you decide, any of you decide to take me on an American courtroom, I can't wait to unload all of the information that I have, all the truth and fact-based information that I have. And I think that's what some of you are afraid of, And by the way, I don't know what the reason is, but I've never received any text backs from the person who, Ethan. If you've been texting me or trying to call me, I don't get it. So it means somebody's interfering with my text message. And here's another thing I'd like to mention about my phone. Some people think that this is a state phone. My phone, my 747 number, is not a state phone. It is a private line that I got privately. It's a free phone because a family friend gifted it to me, but it is a private line. It is not a state line, which means the state has absolutely no authority to listen, intercept, interfere, or mess with calls or text messages. I don't care what kind of celebrity I am. You don't have the right to do that. And I know for a fact, based on some previous videos where we saw the phone number go out and then all magically the number came back, that there's some weird fucking stuff going on. That's what we call evidence. And that's the tip of the fucking iceberg, baby. Okay, so while I'm in a real life weird scandal situation, I'm also in a real life, I'm trying to live my life. You know, I'm actually trying to live my life while actually being in a real life scandal. And I'm trying to live my life as much as I want to be, as normally to me as possible, regardless of the scandal. You know why? Because I don't think people who are trying to resolve scandals or investigate crimes, I don't think they should have to give up their life just to do so. I think, just like me, there's the ability to live the life that you want to live and investigate the crimes, or at least gather enough evidence to defend yourself from potential harassment and legal problems. And I believe that I have done things appropriately enough relative to the context of my life and situation to take the appropriate legal defensive measures. And now basically it's just all these people libeling and slandering to try to misrepresent and tarnish my name and emotionally distress me. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, in the last 12 months since I started Assassin's Creed, you can see it from the beginning of Assassin's Creed, to our most current game, Black Flag, which will be back tomorrow night, by the way. We'll see you back for Black Flag in the Animus tomorrow night, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, here, wherever I am. But you can see the progression and how people figured out ways how to annoy me. And some people are going to say, well, why don't you figure out better ways to be emotional? Why don't you just figure better ways? Well, that's what sort of some of my other ideas were for. Part of this like Staying Alive series was actually meant to be able to give a place for those people who liked messing with people in the game, to create the funny moments based on weird fucked up things. That's what some of this Staying Alive thing was. My Assassin's Creed series was meant to be something better that could progress people through a storyline rather than torture people with failed or unsynced scenarios. So the evidence is all there. All the evidence is there. And so I continue to try to make my product regardless of what these people think. And I just want to state, both the state of California and the state of Arizona are in a very fucked up legal situation, because the state of California told the state of Arizona a bunch of lies about my situation to cover up their own lies. And then the state of Arizona did their own investigation, and then they got caught up in the lies, right? And the real question is the state of Arizona going to do something to help me, or are they just going to do something to try to help their own butts? And that's what I'm kind of like, I'm not sure if the state of Arizona is going to try to help me in this situation, or if they're just going to try to use, and it almost seems to me like the Arizona California situation, like they were working together, like collusion, collusion, the whole Donald Trump thing, man. There's so many weird things that are associated with that too, by the way. Like, oof. It's like how Donald Trump won the first election by just a shitstorm of bad media? I feel like some people tried to replicate that. Like they saw Donald Trump win a presidential election, and then they saw, if Donald Trump can win a presidential election with all shitty bad media, let's do it to this Moose guy. He's got a great promo during this LA Super Bowl, which I did win, by the way. I did win the Super Bowl. For those of you who understand how this whole electricity thing works and how you have to pick the right time to do things, I won y'all a Super Bowl. LA, I won you that Super Bowl. I really did. I mean, so did our team, and so did the coach. But you know what? If for the people who believe in all this stuff about picking the right channels and doing the things during the game, for all the people who actually believe in that world, I won the Super Bowl like that. So regardless of how you view the context of this whole power of technology thing, the synchronization effect, and being synchronized to movies and televisions and choreographed, I helped win something. So yeah, no, I did. And yes, I did miss train sound in the background, which, by the way, occurs here too. That happens here too. They do the train in the background, sound hype train stuff, right? So, and that's the thing. It's interpretive, right? Because it can be classified as a hype train for some people, and then other people, it's something different. And that's the synchronization game. They play one sound, and they synchronize it to a bunch of people who hear the sound in a similar area, right? And then for some people, the sound has one meaning, and then for other people, the sound has other meaning. And then they see how it all mashes together. Staying Alive, psychological games. So there's definitely been a psychological, game scenario playing out for quite a while here. And I've been somebody trying to clarify, and another thing, people think I speak different language. I speak one language. It's American English. And, I've tried learning different languages growing up. Never, I've always had difficulty. And I'm starting to learn now I'm starting to realize now, it's best for me to just know one language. I don't even want to learn another language, and the reason for that is I need to only speak one language, so that way, and the reason, and this is really important part, if I'm a worldwide product, if I have a worldwide fan base, if I'm bigger internationally than I am in the United States, then I need to speak one language so that everybody can understand me. So I'm not confusing people. So at this point in my life, at this point in my life, I have to speak one language. Now, if I'm making a movie or if I'm doing, it doesn't mean I can't speak other languages, but for the intensive purpose of, for the purpose of me communicating real things to people, I speak American English. Okay?
Get to cover. Move.
I speak American English, and for anybody who thinks I speak binary or Morse code, no. Any time I've ever spoken a different language or used Morse code, I've used Google Translate. I need a translator. So if you want to speak to me in a different language, you need a translator. That I'm okay with. Translator is okay. So I can speak different languages and translated things, but my actual dictated speech, it's American English. It is American English, and for the purposes of not confusing my entire international and domestic fan base, and because my American Constitution is written in English, that's the language I speak. So that's why people, if you truly want to communicate with me, don't communicate with me with binary, don't communicate with me with Morse code, don't communicate to me with symbolism, don't communicate to me with sign language, don't communicate to me with, unless you have a translator. And that translator has to specifically talk to me in US American English, and I have to recognize and understand them, not in this weird digital synchronization effect, like legitimately, honestly. Because I want to get to the point where we're not pretending like we can't communicate with each other. I want to get to the point where, okay, we're communicating with each other, and now we're making business deals.
Farming ain't never easy.
I like business deals. Business deals are a fun part of my life right now. I like the idea of business deals.
I got it. I'll fly.
Also, when I was at the LA Grand, I was never offered a dog. There was this Hispanic dude. There was this one time I went to the door, and there was a Hispanic dude and another Hispanic dude and a black dude, maybe a black dude. I don't know if it was a black dude, but and they were all talking, and this one dude had this as good as it gets looking dog. Never offered it to me. They didn't mention anything to me, but with this synchronization, they send you the information neurologically as something's going on, so it feels like a choose your own decision game. And that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like they try to make it like a choose your own decision game. I never had the dog. Nobody gave me the dog. And if they punted the dog off the roof, like Baxter from Anchorman, then that person's a psychopath. Plain and simple. I don't know if that's what happened, but there are weird things that get sent to me that make me feel that somebody took a dog that looked like the As Good As It Gets Baxter dog from, As Good As It Gets and Anchorman, and it was at the LA Grand, and there's just people try to send information to me that make it seem like that dog was kicked off the building or something. If that actually happened, then that tells you what kind of psychopath behavior is going on over there. That will fully explain to you exactly the type of psychopaths that you're dealing with. Because if I was given a dog at the LA Grand, I would have loved that dog in ways that would have given me love and, would have shown other people how much love I truly have in my heart, instead of giving people the idea that I'm some soulless being. I'm not a soulless being. And just because I don't have religion doesn't mean I can't love, and it doesn't mean I can't value things, and it doesn't mean I don't have morals. I have morals, I value, I love, I hurt. And just because I have a high pain tolerance doesn't mean I should be abused either, or for anybody else. Just because some people have high pain tolerances Some people willingly choose to put their high pain tolerance in a place that allows them to do something that's different, but that has to be a consensual act. So just things I'm trying to clarify here. Because I feel like there's a lot of misinformation. And I want to clear the misinformation. Because I feel like I have something that's worth something. And if this misinformation are
Sound off
things...
like you spot Polito's car.
Roger.
If this misinformation are the things that have prevented me from having more success, then I want to clear it up. Because I don't want to prevent me from having success. I want to have success. I want to get better in life. I want to improve my financial situation. I want to upgrade my living situation. I want to upgrade my wardrobe. I want to upgrade my computer. I want to upgrade all of it, just like I upgrade my my world. Just like in any game where you have to upgrade things by unlocking them. I used to play World of Tanks a lot back in the day. You go up through the tiers. I want to upgrade my tiers. So if people think I'm doing things to prevent myself from upgrading, that's not the case. And I really, I'm doing my best to clear the information. I just want to say another thing. Like, being an American has nothing to do with skin color. Okay? It really doesn't. Being American has something to do with the values and beliefs that you have. And those are supposed to be values and beliefs that are consistent with freedom, independence, liberty, civil rights,
We're still all right.
equality, and things that allow people to be free as individuals. Well, and it's meant for all Americans. That's the best part. And for those of you wondering, is America a community? What does it value more, community or individualism? Individualism. Individualism is more important than community in America. And do you know why? Do you know why individualism is more important? It's called the right to vote. And you vote
Roger. Let me get
as
a good
individuals. You do not vote as communities. You can all agree on voting,
Target
sure,
acquired.
but at
Ready
the
to
end of the
fire.
day,
Cartel gunman.
when you're at the voting booth, you're not voting
Target
as
down.
a community. You're voting as an individual. You're casting your ballot as an individual, and that is why individualism and the individual is the primary importance in America. And if you classify civil rights, independence, liberty, freedom for individuals in America, starting with the individual, then it translates and trickles down to the community aspect. The community has to build off of the individual freedom. The community has to build off of individual freedom.
We got a mounted weapon.
Cannot be the other way around. Wait, what the fuck is this? Another side mission.
Hey, we got a narco.
Tell me where.
Close to the truck.
And I've been saying these things for years. I was saying these things at the LA Grand. That's why it bothered me. Because I was trying to remind the people at the LA Grand what freedom and individualism is. And it's like they were upset at me. And so then they would torture me in my room through the walls. As a punishment. And it makes you wonder, at what point does cruel and unusual punishment take place? What are the standards for cruel
got
and
a narco
unusual
over here.
punishment sometimes?
Got him.
I'm moving to position. We find a good position.
Because I definitely feel like there are times when cruel and unusual punishment could be applied.
Tango down.
Because I would certainly classify some ear sounds
Got another
as
tango.
cruel and unusual. Because up until my homelessness, I had never experienced anything related to ear, anything
got one
related to
narco.
like ear
Over by the
torture.
turret.
And it was only since my homelessness began that I ever experienced ear torture. And that might be a common thing that goes on around the world, but the reason why America is so great is because it's not a thing here. That's one of the reasons why America is so great. So if the ear sound thing is something that does happen around the world, and another thing with ear
Heads
sound,
up, we got a turret.
for those of you that say, oh, it's just like being in space, great, I'll find that out when I'm actually in space.
Got eyes on the Tango. He's got a lot
You know
of
what I mean?
background.
Like, what are you prepping me to be on the International Space Station for over 2 years? Like, is the ear ringing sound supposed to represent being in space? Don't you hear a ringing in
I'm
space?
getting a better position. Copy that. Moving.
You know, and that's the thing with the ear ringing sound. They have all these little games
Roger
that they
Target
use
marked.
to try and
Good to go.
rationalize that it's not some torturous act, but it really
Drop.
depends on the context that it's being
Down.
used.
They're gonna see you.
There it is. Eyes on Polito's car.
Oh man. By the way, there are definitely people who have a problem with people who masturbate. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, there are. Oh my gosh. Like, masturbate, like, and this is the whole thing too, like, people who watch porn, right? Like, there are people who are watching porn, and then there's people who are, like, spying on the people watching porn, and they, like, time, like, and you notice this with, like, the cam girls know this, right? The cam girls know all about this. And you can even go look back at porn from the 90s. You can see this in porn from the 90s. They do it in the 90s porn as well. There are people who go around, and they, like, say things, or they, like, wall knock, or they, like, you know, they use the electricity to make you feel good, right? Which is great. When it feels good, the only question is, what do they do afterwards? You know, what are the kind of things that they do to mess with you during that time? You know, it's a little obsessive. It's a little crazy, in my opinion. Like, I've never spent my life's time going around asking people or trying to mess with people based on masturbation. And we all masturbate, let's be honest. Unless you're, like, totally against masturbation. So there's a large percent of the population that masturbates. I masturbate. You know, hell, I mean, this may not be the most appropriate thing to say, but it's my stream, and I'm here to tell you the truth. I masturbate. I've watched porn. I've masturbated porn. And there are people who mess with people who masturbate. And I think it's weird. I think it's weird that these people spend their time trying to prove to society how good or bad masturbation is and how evil it is or not evil it is. Like, well, I'm a fan of the people who try to prove that porn is fine. But, you know, for the people who are, like, spending their time trying to, like, make porn, like, evil, like some sort of evil thing, I think you're fucked in the head. I think you spend way too much. I think you need therapy. I think people who spend so much time with their lives that they have to spy on people who watch porn, I think you need therapy. Honestly, I think you need some therapy.
Mark that for deactivation.
Because if you know, and that's the thing, I don't spend time spying on people. I don't spend time hacking into people's personal lives. I don't have that amount of time. Some of you apparently do. Some of you apparently have so much money and time on your hands that you just go around trying to play moral righteousness, and you're violating people's rights and making people feel awkward, and you're creating really uncomfortable situations for people. And maybe that's what you want.
There's a bloody condom in the glove box.
Maybe it's what you want. Oh, Artie Wing guy.
I guess that confirms
Nothing to do
it's Yuri and
with periods.
Polito's
It's a
red.
completely hockey-related thing.
Even if
I
the
played
condom's
hockey
gonna
for
stand in
17
this
years.
fucking car.
I never
Artie
knew
Wing
that.
guy was a playoff of the Red Wings,
You get
which
into
is a hockey team, my
web,
favorite
there
hockey
are
team
webs
growing
on
up.
it that you just drive it
The
around
reason
the same
for
dusty
being
towns
Steve
you were
Yzerman,
driving
Chris
around
Osgood,
before.
my favorite player, my
Totally
favorite
want
goalie.
one of these cars, don't
So Red Wing guy
Fancy
has
car,
nothing to do with
fancy
period
suit,
sex. I'm not even
still the
into.
same
I'm not
streets.
even
What's
into
the point?
blood. For all the people out there in the fetish world, I'm not into blood. It's like one of my hard limits. Like, blood is not a sexual thing. Like, I don't like even periods. Like, I don't want periods. You know, no period sex for me. Things. Like, I'm not interested in the period sex. So I just want to clarify for the record.
We've got a location on El Polito's personal car. Steal it. So our text
Red Wing
will
guy
analyze the car's
is
GPS
not
for
has
intel.
in a no is 0%. And 0% has to do with period sex. It is completely a hockey related thing. Now, if you really want to get technical, there are cool Easter eggs within RD Wing guy, right? The RD. There's so many words with RD in it that they're awesome. And then you have win, GG, and then the UY part. Now, my best guess is the RD Wing guy was the part that was already written. And then the UI part is the part that kind of can be like, you know, the open-ended part of the story that's interpretive based on how you view the beginning part of the story. Well, if you view my Artie Wing guy as a story, because there is history to it, and there is a story. Oh dear, there is a story with Microsoft. By the way, I think my Artie Wing guy account is on Microsoft is the first account to actually beat the policy enforcement team. So they tried to ban my account, and I actually beat them with arguments, and they basically just ignored the arguments. And then I reached out to Jim. There was a person at the time, Jimquisition. They called his YouTube the Jimquisition, and I actually sent an email to this person, and I sent the original email through one of my raver emails, and then I was like, oops, sorry, I sent you the wrong email, and then I resent it through my Artie Wing guy email. But both of those emails are mine. I have both those emails. Those are both my emails, you know. But you know, and then all of a sudden, this is where it gets interesting, though. The Jimquisition guy who was in Europe over the years starts transitioning to a female, which I'm totally cool with, not a problem. Hey, good for you. But I find it ironic that I never received a response from this Jimquisition person, and then all of a sudden they're transitioning, and then they moved to the United States. So they transitioned, and then they moved to the United States. And then I never heard from them. And this is the person who fights for gamers' rights. So, you know, I'm pretty sure that person is the person who can help me officially defeat the policy enforcement team assholes who thought they beat me. And I just want to clarify that, you know, I have a situation that pretty much proves that the policy enforcement team Xbox Live at that time was going against their own value system, their own set of standards to try and prevent people like myself from having a legitimate due process, basically. They were trying to fuck up my ability to have due process. You know, and as we now know, with how important the video game world is, and gamer tags and accounts, having my original Xbox account, it'd be like 20 plus years old. My original Xbox account would be 20 years old right now, and it still exists. And I and the rest of the world, you know, I can't wait for the year 9,999, December 31st, 9,999, assuming we can't get these things resolved sooner, because technically it's just an indefinite suspension. They're not permanent suspensions, right, Microsoft? And this goes back many, many years ago. But anybody who's been in Microsoft and has ever had an account banned, the year 9,999, oh my gosh, can't we all just wait? And you know, the thing is, that's going to be the most glorious day in history. You know why? Because anybody associated with Microsoft in the year 9,999 is going to have to deal with the biggest opening of accounts in history, and then they're going to have to like lick the ass of all the people, you know, like there's going to be people, you know, just 9,000 years of people waiting to get their accounts back. So they're going to build, you know, there's going to be storylines. If they don't resolve that whole indefinite suspension account situation, there are going to be people who plan and prep for the year 9,999 in ways that the policy enforcement team just can't fathom. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Uber people also had their hands dipped in the Microsoft people, because it seems like those IT people have to try turning it on and off again, certainly have been tickling the digital world in ways that they probably shouldn't have. So I'm gonna go try to take a quick dip in my new pool, in the new pool that I'm at here. I'm gonna go try to take a quick swim, and that's another episode of Staying Alive. Staying alive. And maybe I'll be back later tonight, where we'll do another episode. But I don't know. I feel like this is pretty helpful to people who are interested in my storyline and also interested in me doing wild, crazy things on stream. So here's another one of those wild, crazy streams, everyone. And I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you next time. And you know, have a good one. Have a good one. This is me as the Hanson, one of the Hanson brothers. All right. See you around, everyone. I'll see you around. If I'm not back on tonight, then Animus tomorrow. I'll see you there. Okay? All right. Bye. Bye. See you next time. Bye. Have a good one. Bye.